In 1967, our next guest replaced Florence Ballard, and with Diana Ross and Mary Wilson, became a member of the world's most celebrated singing group, the Supremes. I'd like to introduce you to Cindy Birdsong. Cindy, welcome to Hollywood Hot.
Well, thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
It's a pleasure. I would like you to tell me about your roots in music. I know you grew up in, I believe in Camden?
Right.
Yes, in New Jersey. And tell me what your rock and roll roots are about.
Well, actually, they didn't start out as rock and roll roots. I started in the church, as you probably have heard a lot of rock and roll singers say. I sang in the church choir as a teenager and loved singing and enjoyed listening to rock and roll, but never sang rock and roll until later when I started singing professionally. I didn't really want to be a singer. I always wanted to be an actress. But at the time I started singing, I was taking vocal lessons because I thought it would be important and come in handy. And
right. Well, I know that you became a member of the Bluebells with Patti LaBelle at some point. Tell me about that.
Okay, well, it happened right after I started taking vocal lessons, as a matter of fact. There was a guy that I grew up with in my home neighborhood that had become a professional singer. And his manager wanted to start a female vocal group because female vocal groups were very popular then. And he heard that I had been taking vocal lessons, and he came and knocked on my door and said, would you like to go and audition for my manager because he needs 4 girls. And I went over and auditioned, and 3 girls had already been chosen. And one happened to be Patti LaBelle and Nona and Sarah. And they had been chosen during that week. And I was the last one to be chosen after the interview and audition.
And how long after that did you become a member of the Supremes?
Well, I sang with Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells for 7 years, from 1960 until 1967, when I left the group and joined the Supremes.
Tell me how that came about. How did you become a member of the Supremes?
Okay, I'll take you back a little bit for that. You know, in the early 60s, there was what was called a Chitlin circuit.
Right.
And that was a circuit of theaters all around the country. In a lot of major cities, they would have a theater in that city that had rock and roll shows.
Right.
In Washington, D.C., it was the Howard Theater.
The Howard Theater, yes.
In Baltimore, Maryland, it was the Royal Theater. In Philadelphia, the Uptown, and so on, the Apollo in New York. And I met the Supremes on one of those shows. In fact, I believe it was a Motown review show, had all Motown artists, and we were actually the only group on the show that wasn't a Motown act. And the only 2 girls groups. In those days, the girls groups were highly competitive. And there was a little bit of jealousy and envy, you know, and literally sometimes arguments and fighting backstage. And I think because we were 2 top female groups during the early 60s, and neither one of us had really made it big, but there was so much public adulation, you know, for the 2 groups that they put us on that show, even though we weren't a Motown act, just to see what kind of reaction they could get, because it would bring publicity to the show. That's how I met the girls. Even though our girls wanted to stay away from them, you know, because it was that high competition. They didn't really want to meet them.
Was it a difficult decision for you to
join the
change
Supremes?
groups? Yes.
Well, because of that early meeting in Motown, I happened to go over and knock on their door. I mean, in the Uptown Theater, I happened to go and knock on the door and meet the girls. I believe that's the reason I joined the Supremes later. I think from that time on, people used to say that Florence Ballard and I had a similar look. And we sang the same voice, we were the same size, and all those coincidences, I think, were the reason that they chose me.
Well, I read recently that there were 10 members, I believe in Us magazine, 10 members of the Supremes. And I knew that wasn't correct. Perhaps you can name the Supremes for us.
Diana Ross, Mary Wilson, Florence Ballard were the 3 originals. I replaced Florence Ballard, and then Diana Ross left the group
1970.
in 1970.
Yes.
And Jean Terrell took her place. Okay, and Linda Lawrence took my place.
Right.
And then I came back.
So that's when you worked with Linda.
No,
Oh.
I didn't. As a matter of fact, the time that I worked with Linda was during my pregnancy, because I worked a couple of jobs with the group during my pregnancy, even though I had left. Someone got sick. I think it was Jean.
Right.
And Mary, Linda, and I did a show, and the first one was at the Copacabana in New York City, because even though I was really big, I still knew the show, and they needed somebody right away.
Right.
So I went and filled in, and that's how I got a chance to work with Linda. I really worked with just about all of the Supremes.
You worked with Sherry, too.
With Sherry.
Yes.
And
Yes.
After Sherry Payne, I think it was you.
I joined the group, yes.
Right.
And we've never worked together, but I hope that in the future we'll get to do some writing together. We've talked about it, so hopefully that'll come about.
That would be great.
I'd like to know now what the hardest part of the whole Supreme experience was for you.
And that's kind of a difficult question, because it was such a glorious career while it lasted. And even though we worked very, very hard, I can't associate too much that was very difficult about the job itself, because we were just adored and loved all around the world. But I can relate to something hard in the personal area of my personal life outside of the Supremes, but it was associated with my job, and that was having to leave my family, because after I had my child and I got married in 1970,
right.
before I had, David, I got married. I failed to mention that. And leaving my husband and my child was very, very difficult for me.
Yes. I think that's probably the most difficult part for most women with careers. Is having to leave home, and men, even though men might miss their family or their home life, when there are children involved, it's a different thing. There's that closeness, and you're not able to feel it, and you might feel a little guilty about it sometimes. Did you go through that?
Oh yes. As a matter of fact, the first long tour that I took after I had my baby, I left him home with my husband and a live-in housekeeper that I had.
Right.
And when I came back home off the tour at the airport, my husband brought the baby to see me. And when I said, "Come here, baby, come here, sweetheart," he went, "Yeah."
Oh, no.
I mean, he didn't even know his own mother.
Who is this woman?
And that really hurt me deeply.
Yes.
I can look at it,
imagine.
Look back and laugh now, but that really hurt me deeply. And I knew that I didn't want to leave him anymore. I started traveling with him after that.
Tell me, how does your having a career affect him now?
Well, you know what? Because I started traveling with him at that early age, he grew up out there, and he became a kind of like a little card backstage. And actually, he was more like an old man than a little kid, because people would come in the dressing room, and this little 2-, 3-year-old toddler would walk up and say, "Hello, how are you?" and put his hand out and shake hands. I mean, he was very grown up and more like an adult. And he would sleep all day with me, and then sometimes sit through a show at night, and then somebody would take him and put him in bed later. He'd sit out there and have a 7-Up with a straw. And he grew up, so it wasn't too difficult for him. He got used to it.
It made him mature.
It really did.
Yes.
I think when he started school, I got my child back, though, because he started associating with children his own age, and he started acting like a child then.
Right.
And I was grateful for that time. And he no longer traveled with me. It became a little difficult for him then, because not because he missed me so much, but he missed me, but he missed being out there, because that was the lifestyle he knew.
Right, that he was accustomed to. I'd like to know, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers would be interested in your writing.
I love to write. I love to write. In the early 60s, I wrote a lot of songs, and when I wrote them, I always had someone in mind. I wrote love songs, beautiful ballads, rock and roll, hot, upbeat songs, and I think I wrote about 60-something songs, and then I went to Japan on a trip, and somebody stole my book, and I didn't have a lot of duplicates or copies of them. I'd never used them, except there was one that was recorded by the Bluebells that we had on an album called "Don't Change Your Love," and it never got me out as a single, but I was really grateful that one was recorded. But now, I'm not just writing songs. I'm writing gospel songs, which are different from me, because I'm a born-again Christian now. And also, I recently wrote a play, and skits.
Oh, marvelous.
Yeah, and I really feel like the songs that I'm writing now are inspired,
Yes.
you know, of the Lord. They're not just songs that are from my head or from my heart, but they're inspired, and they come from God, because it's such a difference as compared to the songs I wrote in the world. The way that I write them, there's such a flow, and it's so easy. Sometimes the songs that I wrote that were rock and roll songs would take me 3 days to finish one song. When the Lord gives me a song, sometimes it's 10 minutes, and they're beautiful, really edifying songs.
That's fascinating.
And the play that he gave me just flowed. I mean, I wrote it within an hour almost, and it's about an hour in length because some songs have been added to it too since I originally wrote it. And it's a comedy. It's a musical comedy, but it has a lot of the Word of God in it also, and it's entitled Seek Him First. And it's amazing. I recently have been interested in writing screenplays now because I like to step up. Everything is a new challenge to me, and I've never written a screenplay, and I have a great idea for one. So I bought a book, one of the best books on screenplay writing, by an author named Sid Field. It's really interesting. As I started to read that book, everything that the Lord had given me for that play that I wrote this summer, all the technical things I read in the book, my play lined up with everything. So you know the Lord is right on it anyway. But that really, it shouldn't have amazed me, but I was just really amazed and happy that I could hand that play to somebody professional, and they say, well, hey, this is written right.
I understand you're writing with Sarita now, preparing for her album, and she's going to do some gospel things.
We have talked about it. We haven't actually started yet, but we've been saying for a year, you know, but her schedule is very busy, and mine is very busy right now. But we're going to meet very soon because she is scheduled to go into the studio very soon. And she's going to do a gospel song in her album. So we're either going to collaborate on writing one together, or she's going to look at some of the things I have. It depends. I don't know what she's going to choose, whether we should write something, or she may find something of the ones that I've written. She wants to look at them. But we've been saying for a long time we were going to write together. I think she's an excellent writer, and I think it's a great compliment to even have the opportunity to write something with her.
Tell me what your career goals are now. What's in the future for Cindy Birdsong?
Well, okay. One of the things that I wanted to do when I was one of the Supremes was some acting. And that's always been my heart's desire, because in the 60s, I wanted to act. I wanted to be an actress, and I never realized that dream. I took the singing job because it was a way to get my foot in the door.
Exactly, the opportunity.
And because I was fortunate enough to be in a very popular singing group and achieve fame and glory and all that through that channel, I never really had a chance to realize the dream of acting. I think I'd like to try acting. Since I left the Supremes, I did a play, and I recently have been approached about doing another one, and I'm considering it now, and I think that I'm going to do it. And
that's marvelous.
Yeah, it is.
I wish you a lot of luck with it.
Thank you.
I would like to ask you one other question. Because of your celebrity with the Supremes, I know there is no doubt a preconceived image that men in particular have of you, one of glamour and sophistication. Does that in any way make relationships, one-on-one relationships, difficult to begin?
Well, I think when I was with the Supremes, I felt that it did. I don't any longer feel that way, but I felt that when I was with the Supremes, that people were, well, men in particular, were really scared to approach us. And they would be intimidated by us a lot of times in our presence. They would feel like, well, I can't speak to her because she's a star. And sometimes it would make it very hard to develop a relationship with a person. You really had to almost be aggressive if you wanted to really catch the interest, because sometimes their interest, because they would be afraid.
I know that's probably true.
Once in a while you'd run across someone who was aggressive enough to say, well, hey,
Go past all that.
I like her, and no matter what. But I found that to be a problem from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
But I really believe that when the chemistry is right between two people, you know, you can meet somebody and zing. There's no holds barred, you know.
Yes.
You just automatically go towards each other.
Like magic.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And in Christ, now that I'm in Christ, I even think even more so that way. I believe that there's a person that's right for you, and that you will be with that person that's right for you. And you'll be drawn to them, and they'll be drawn to you.
Do you think it's probably fate, or that it's something that is already pre-planned?
Well, I think that's a good question. I've never really thought about it. I don't think it's fate, no. But I think that God has somebody special for each one of us, you know, and I don't think that it's a choice of 1 out of 3. I think it's a special person.
I'd like to think that, too.
So I think it's a preordained plan.
Cindy, tell us, what is your concept of the Hollywood dream?
Well, when I was a kid, I thought Hollywood was the place to be because I wanted to be a movie star. And now I think it's a place where people can come and realize a dream of a lifetime. It's a place to work towards the goal of having fame and fortune, and it can be in many different areas. And I think it's a perfect place to learn and study in the field that you would want to go in, if it happens to be the Hollywood scene as far as acting, you know, or music, or dance. It's a perfect place to study and to grow and to audition and try out and to use your craft and to learn and to attain that fame. So this is the place to be if you have those kind of goals or aspirations, Hollywood.
Well, I would really like to tell you how much I've enjoyed this talk with you, and I'd like to wish you the very best in all of your goals and
thank you.
for the near and the far future. And thank you very much for coming and hanging out a little bit with us on Hollywood Hot. Until next time, thank you.